And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So first of all, apologies for the radio silence in the last week or so. Not much has happened on this channel. I think we're not posting about 8 days, I think now, which is not like us. So apologies for that. A couple of things, for a couple of reasons behind that really was because, of course, the transfer window had just closed. We wanted to take a little break from uploading, and of course the international break was on as well. So there's not really much to go through in terms of Celtic news. It's always relatively quiet when international football's on, when the transfer window's closed. Not a lot to really go through, and that was the case. Of course, I check in daily to see what's happening around the club. But we played yesterday. We beat Hearts 2-0, a great performance. And I want to go through that game, discuss some players I thought were superb in that match, and some other bits and pieces from around the club in the last few hours. So there's a lot to go through now in today's video. Let's start with the match yesterday, I suppose. I think overall a 2-0 win. It's a good result. I think we could have scored a lot more. Of course, we had scored another goal. Ida's goal was tallied off for offside. But yeah, I think overall a solid performance from the boys. Again, another clean sheet, which we'll discuss in just a moment, because it's unbelievable what's happening right now. Defensively, we look pretty solid. Schmeichel had a great start to his Celtic career so far, yet to concede a goal, which is awesome. But yeah, I think, it was a great overall performance. And there's one player I want to highlight in particular, of course, and that is the man that's kind of being dubbed as the Matt O'Reilly replacement. He was a very expensive transfer, a record-breaking transfer. That, of course, being Engles. There's plenty of things to be positive about when it comes to Engles. Even if he had not scored, it would have been an impressive beginning for him in Celtic colours. Hearts were determined to give him a physical welcome to football in this country, and it seemed to target him with fouls in the first half, which Engles came through robustly. His movement caught the eye, and as the game progressed, his combinations with teammates were sharp and fluid, helping build play into the final third. He likes a flick pass and a 1-2. Yeah, overall looked like a really good player, really technically really gifted player as well, I thought. And of course, he got a goal scored from the penalty spot as well, which is awesome to see. He had 80 touches, including 6 in the Hearts box. He was a busy performer throughout his 80 minutes on the pitch, not afraid to get himself on the ball and get involved. He won 6 of his 8 duels, won a tackle and blocked a shot. He wasn't directly creative at the other end, but found himself on the end of several good attacking moves and hit the post with a fierce shot in the first half. The mentality he showed to step up and take a penalty despite it being his first start is evidence he has a mettle to be a boy's star. You can tell there's something about him as he adjusts to life in Scotland and develops under Brendan Rodgers. Is only going to get better. Celtic fans will be feeling very happy he is at the club yesterday, and he's ready for more great moments in a Celtic shirt. Yeah, I thought he was superb watching that game. I mean, we knew it was going to be hard to fill the shoes of Matt O'Reilly. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's, as good as Matt O'Reilly, because, I don't really know how good this guy can be. But, he is a really, really good player. And he had a great performance yesterday on his first start for the club. And I think, he looked like a just natural, didn't feel like if the occasion fazed him whatsoever. The physicality didn't really seem to faze him either. Just slotted straight into the midfield and done a brilliant job. And I think this guy is going to be really, really good. And I think he's got a really high ceiling as well. Now, I was reading something when it comes to the Old Firm derby the other week there, and apparently Clement actually spoke to Engles and said, you made the right move going to Celtic. And this is kind of, if you go back a few years ago when Clement was in Belgium managing Bruges, I think, he said that this guy Engles could be a superstar. This guy looks like he could be world class in the future, which of course, to come from an opposition manager, especially a Rangers manager, it's a big praise there as well. So the ceiling is very, very high for this player. The world's, he can do what he wants. He's a really good player, natural talent player, still so young as well. And I think he can be a really good player for us. I'm really happy that we got this player. And £11 million is a lot of money, but of course, when you want to make that next step into Europe and dominate them domestically as well, you have to make these big signings and take that risk as well. Because of course, it is a risky signing as well. Look, there's a lot of money. If it didn't go our way, then it's going to be thrown back in our face. But if it goes right, then we can have a really good player on our hands here. And it looks like that might be the case after his first start for the club. But of course, it's still early days yet. There's still a lot to come from him, I imagine. He's still very much early into his Celtic career, so we'll see how he gets on. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts with regards to Engles and his first Celtic start. What did you make of it? Do you think he was one of the best players on the pitch? Yes or no? Now let's go over this record-breaking situation as well, because with a victory and a clean sheet, Celtic have won their first 5 league matches without conceding for just the second time in the club's history. So per the BBC, the first instance of this came way back in 1906-07 season. So a 118-year-old record has been equalled, and Celtic can now go on to break it away to St Johnstone in the boys' next Premiership outing. So Kasper Schmeichel did have a bit of work to do yesterday afternoon, making 3 saves and preventing a 0.9 XG on target. He can take a bit of credit for setting an excellent defensive standard at the start of his boy's career. So we are looking really good right now going forward defensively. A lot of people thought, losing Joe Hart, losing Matt O'Reilly, stuff like that, people thought we would be struggling, but we replaced those players seemingly so well. I knew Kasper Schmeichel would be a good player when he came into the club. I know he's older, people wanted more of a younger keeper, but this guy's got experience. This guy's a Premier League winner, he's an FA Cup winner. He's a big player, and his start to his Celtic career has been really good. Not conceded a goal yet in the league, which is amazing. In the first 5 league matches, of course, he did concede in the cup against Hibernian, but regardless of that, this is a great stat, and equalled a 1906 and 07 season 118-year-old record. And if we can go on to beat that against St Johnstone next week, then what a stat! And it's unbelievable that's 118 years old. That's crazy. If we can get 6 clean sheets in the first 6 league matches, that'd be an amazing stat to see. And I think Kasper Schmeichel will be loving it, because that's goalkeeper's bread and butter, keeping clean sheets. And you could basically say he's maybe already locked up the Golden Glove this season already as it is. So we'll see how he gets on next match. But yeah, overall, very happy performance. Very good performance. Sorry. Yeah, I'm very happy with the result. Let me know your thoughts on the game as a whole. I thought another shout out. I thought Callum McGregor looked really good as well. Didn't score, but of course he got 3 goals already this season. But he looked pretty solid in midfield, I thought, as well. Either looked pretty lively when he came on. He hasn't. I want to see him get on the score sheet. He could have scored yesterday. Of course, it was tied for offside. But yeah, I think overall, I think the team's going to get better and better as the season progresses. And now my kind of focus is looking on to Europe now, seeing if we can kind of translate this form into the big European stage and try and get out of this new league format into the knockout rounds of the competition. So that's my focus now a little bit as well. I want to see how we do in that competition. I think we can do pretty good and make a good statement in Europe this season. But yeah, drop a like if you have not yet already, and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.